the New York Knicks. I'm back, rocking the New York Blues. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 459 of the New York Knicks podcast, part of the Almighty Baller Podcast Network and Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Good. We are right where we expected to be at the start of the season. I think we all predicted that at this point, at the end of the season, the Knicks would need to go 3-3, their best, which would be their best stretch of the season, to match their worst record of all time. We all predicted that LeBron James would be at this point in the season shutting it down, be calling it a season. And how are you doing, Jay?
It's been a little crazy.
Yeah. Whose life has been crazier? Yours or Kristaps Porzingis?
We're going to go right there, huh?
Go right there. We're going to have a special guest on the show, Jay.
Yes, we're going to have Robert Silverman. He is going to be joining us in about 15 minutes. So I guess we will just try and break down the happenings of this weekend. Pretty not good news for our former, now disowned favorite player on the Knicks, who used to be on the Knicks.
So we're going to our Facebook questions. Sean writes, should we be glad KP left now that he offered $68,000 to keep a female mouth shut about rape? And Paul responds, and then he told us to stay woke. Which I thought was a great, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Sean. So all this is allegations. We don't know if any of this is true. We do know that the night of his injury, the allegation is a female that was in his building, or he knew he allegedly did something, rape. Allegedly, he sexually assaulted her. Is the allegations right?
Yes, and apparently, yeah, assault and rape. Yes.
Yeah, actually, the New York Post. I'm saying they're using the word rape. So he's accused of rape, and supposedly he offered her $68,000 to keep her mouth shut. This could all be true. It could all be a complete lie. But the Dallas Mavericks did know about this allegation and said, "What the heck? We'll take him anyway." Do you think this hurt his trade? Do you think this is the reason that the Knicks? Do you think this contributed to the Knicks wanting to trade him?
I think it made the decision much easier. It also might explain why the package wasn't as great as we were expecting. It's like, hey, we'll offer you 2 firsts in Dennis Smith Jr. and DeAndre Jordan for Porzingis. Well, he's an alleged rapist. Okay, one draft pick.
Yeah, you wonder how much this contributed. You wonder if the Knicks just said, like, hey, we want to, like, he's already doesn't seem into our team. It seems like he kind of wants to leave anyway. And this, like, do we really want to fight to keep this guy when these allegations could turn out to be true?
Right. From what I've been reading, this woman sounds super sketchy. So
yeah,
it may come out that this is all just her trying to extort money out of Porzingis, which I hope is the case. And if that's the case, I hope she ends up in jail.
Yeah, I mean, you got to always hope that the allegations aren't true, because that would be goddamn awful if they're true. If they're true, like, yeah, hopefully this is not true. I mean, just like Derrick Rose had that whole allegation, and I guess it went away.
I think that went away.
Kobe Bryant had an allegation; his went away also.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah,
they all go away.
Yeah.
So that's
it helps when you have like $100 million. Things tend to disappear when that happens.
Yes, that's true. So we have no idea if this is true, but this is kind of a crazy allegation to come out. Do you think the Knicks? Do you think this seriously was like the reason the Knicks made the trade?
No, I think it was a combination of a ton of things. It was the fact that he hasn't played one healthy season yet. The fact that he wasn't happy. So you have the chance that he leaves for nothing in a year. There was.
Do you think KP is finally? He kept saying like the truth will come out. Is he excited the truth is out?
He was probably like not that truth.
Not that true. Yeah, again, we don't know if it's true.
Alleged.
But
Everything we say from here on is alleged.
I would like him to just
before.
explain what the hell he was talking about. The state woke and the truth will come out and all his like hush hush bull crap. Basically,
I don't know. It's just
he's alleging some grand conspiracy. I imagine. Do you think that? So this allegation happens. KP and let's assume it's not even true. Let's assume it's not true.
okay.
KP's like, this is complete bullshit.
Mhm.
The Knicks are, and he goes to the Knicks. The Knicks are like, we got your back, but we really have to see what happens with this. We can't just assume it's going to go away. Like, do you think that KP's lack of interest in being a Knick or like his disinterest in Knick had partly to do with the Knicks not getting his back enough? He felt like.
No.
Yeah, because the truth will come out. Maybe he's like, there was a false allegation came out. The Knicks seem to like be like kind of down the middle, not wanting to like take my side completely.
Hedging their bets, yeah.
Yeah, and because the Knicks, like, we don't know. You're like, I don't know what actually happened. You could have done this. You could not have done this. We're gonna take every allegation seriously and not just pretend like because you're KP, you couldn't have done this.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm rolling with this, Jay. And that's why this whole truth will come out is that the Knicks screwed him over in some respect. He felt like by not getting his back.
He felt disrespected.
Yeah, and that's like, so this will come out, this will go away, and he'll be like, yeah, the Knicks didn't immediately assume rape couldn't have happened. That'll be his thing.
I like it. I like that theory.
We solved this. New York Post cover us. Anyway, Knicks played some games this week. They lost the games. They lost every one of the games. The Knicks. The Knicks are. I have to say, the Knicks are a good team for the league, in the sense of when a guy is in the last season of his career and he was an all-star, one of the all-time greats. The Knicks are like, go to town on us. We don't care.
Yeah. I just want to focus on what we're usually pretty negative. Mitchell Robinson had 19 point, 21 rebound, 2 block game. Yeah.
Mitchell Robinson is the shit. He got now apparently he's starting for the rest of the season. He started against the Heat. He had 14 rebounds, 9 points, 3 steals, 4 blocks. He's all over the place.
He has been really, really good. So we nailed the draft pick. It's been about time.
Basically, we've been kind of he is the diamond in the rough. He is the we got one. Okay, now we need 11 more players in this team.
Yeah, pretty much.
He looks really good.
Did you see what DeAndre Jordan said about losing his starting spot?
What did he say?
He said, "Let's start him, see what he can do. I'll still be ready for you."
Oh, that's what you're supposed to do.
That's a true pro. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, Mitchell Robinson looks like I mean we've been talking about it all season, like being really hyped for this guy, and this guy he keeps getting better and better. We've got a rock. He's our center going forward until we trade him to clear cap space later.
I was really happy with DeAndre Jordan's attitude too.
Yeah, I mean, why does Jordan really need to start on one of the worst team in the NBA with like 6 games to go? Is it? What's he going to gain by going? I really need this playing time.
I mean, he's an expiring, so you don't want to lose your job to a rookie. That I could see some players be like, "No, showcase me. I want to get paid."
Yeah, but everyone knows what DeAndre Jordan is already. Like, if he's going to get enough, these 6 games aren't going to influence him getting paid.
I agree. I agree. I'm just saying it's an ego hit to lose your starting spot to a rookie, and I could see some players acting negatively to that.
Well, I think that's the way. That's why Fizdale did it this way by asking him, as opposed to just telling him Robinson's starting. That would be kind of like, I bet Fizz came to him and goes, "It'd be better for the young if he could start. Could you step aside for the rest of the season?" And he probably was like, "Oh, that would totally will do that." Like, do you think he was told or was kind of asked told?
He was probably asked told, but I think Fizdale has a way of doing that where you feel like you're part of the decision, and I think that's why the players like him.
I said asked with a K, not ASS told, because that just sounded weird.
Okay.
I was talking about before, though, Dwayne Wade went to town on the Knicks.
He did, and I'm pretty disappointed with Knicks fans.
Because they were cheering him.
Yeah, get out of here with that garbage.
He's one of the all-time greats.
I don't care. We've been
he's
booing
a
him
top,
for 20 years. We should continue to boo him.
Wade's a Hall of Famer, but yeah, you boo everyone that comes here.
Yeah,
Like
that's the whole point of supporting a team. You hate the opposing team. You don't cheer him the whole game. I don't care if it's the last game.
like next year when LeBron James on his last season in the NBA because he's fallen off and like he's terrible next year. The Knicks fans do not cheer LeBron James. We should all boo him and what he's become on the Lakers.
Yeah,
when they're fighting for their tank position next year.
Yeah. So I am definitely against all that nonsense. Boo him.
Yeah. Boo everyone. We got a tough season. Take it out on everyone. We boo our owner. Let's just take it out on everyone. What else is going on with the Knicks, Jay?
Well, we got a couple emails.
Okay. We got some Facebook questions. Let's go. Go to the emails and then Facebook questions, and Robert will join us in a moment.
John Morant, he was talking about his scouting report, and part of his scouting report is that he's bad on defense, and he's saying he's carrying a huge offensive load, so he's tired on defense, and NBA conditioning and strength training should fix that. Plus, he probably won't be carrying an entire offense when he gets to the NBA. I think that was a reasonable, thought-out response.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but I always feel like also, like, how do you play the correct number of minutes you can play both sides? Maybe you don't have to carry the offensive load if you're playing defense. Like, if you have to play 37 minutes and because of that you can't play defense, play 32 minutes and play defense.
Well, that's the coach.
Yeah, you're
I mean,
right.
he's also young. He's young, so he doesn't have the professional strength conditioning. If he doesn't know where he's going, like Cantor, that's more concerning.
Right. I mean, the thing is, he's probably, if the Knicks get the number 2 pick in the draft, he's probably who the Knicks will take.
Yeah, I'd agree.
By the way,
Hagai, thank you, Hagai.
Yeah, well, the Knicks played. Duke played. The Duke lost today. Zion's is out of the tournament. With the game on the line, do you think the Duke gave the ball to Zion?
Yes.
No, they did not.
Oh, smart.
You wonder if Zion is very, very good, and not to. I want to start bashing Zion because I know the Knicks aren't going to get him because I really want the Knicks to get him, but I want to be sour on him if the Knicks don't get him.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be like, oh, he wasn't good anyway, but the Knicks don't get him.
Yeah,
and he didn't take the last shot. Barrett took the last shot, which was awful, and then Duke lost. And Barrett missed key free throws to lose the game. Also, he's the guy. He's shooting 66% from the field. He's going to be. He's shooting 66% from free throw line. Barrett's going to be a Knick.
Yeah,
Anyway, Zion looked good at times, but he's what I gather from Zion. He's not the guy that's going to take over a game. In the sense of you can't just give him the ball and expect him to score. He needs the help of a point guard.
Most players do.
Yeah, but if the Knicks are going to be if the Knicks are going to draft the Messiah is not going to should need a point guard because the Knicks will never have one.
Let's not talk about that right now. It's going to be a long summer.
It's going to be a long summer. Anyway, so Zion, I am disappointed because I kind of wanted to watch Zion all the way through. So I'd watch him win the tournament and then the Knicks draft him.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, he's the anointed one.
Jorge writes, we should have tried to trade for D'Angelo Russell. What player would you guys sign and trade for? What player would you guys sign and trade for? I'd go for Devin Booker.
That's your answer, Jay, or his?
That's his answer. I would not go for Devin Booker. He could score 50 points, but his team can't win 20 games. So
he's been in the league for a long time, and the Suns have been horrible. They even have 8 now, and they're still terrible. I don't know. Booker's fine. He's fine. He's a very talented scorer, but for some reason his teams don't win any games.
Yeah, it's not a good look. The fact that they're the second worst team in the league after 50 are in the league.
Yeah, you would think that he'd be able to get them at least to 30 wins, 35 wins. They could be respectably bad, not horrendous.
Yeah.
And I get the roster's pretty bad, but like, I don't know. Devin Booker, he scored 50 points 2 games in a row, and they lost both games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if those 50 points really help them at all.
Well, it's not that they lost. They lost by like 25 points each game.
Yeah, did they put him back in just so he can get his 50? You're down by 30. You don't even need him in the game at this point, and they put him back in. So just you can get his number.
Well, he was shooting for 60 that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of lame.
Yeah. There was an SI podcast. What's the SI podcast called again?
The Open Floor.
Open Floor. They had a good line. They instead of telling people I'm going for 50, he should have said, I'm going for a W. I'm going to go play defense tonight.
Exactly.
Adrian writes, did the Knicks save themselves from KP allegations of Timmy's injury? By the way, Timmy's injured, by the way. And what should I do with my KP City edition jersey? I love the jersey, but hate the name and number. LOL.
I know. I have my only Knicks jersey is a Porzingis one.
Can you get the number and everything taken off and it's got to be a service for this?
I am like the death knell for getting jerseys. I got my girlfriend a David Lee one right before they let him go, and I got a Porzingis one, and we still.
Okay, that's not really the death. That's 2 jerseys, and one of the guys wasn't really that great of a player.
David Lee was an all-star as soon as he left the Knicks.
David Lee is not all that great. David Lee is 32 and out of the league.
He's 35.
And he's been out of the league for 3 years.
I don't care.
By the way,
he's still one of my favorite Knicks.
I don't want you to test this theory by getting a Mitchell Robinson jersey.
All right, you want to see if Robert Silverman's ready?
Yeah, go see if Robert's ready. Oh, actually, 2 quick questions. Do real fast, then we check with Robert's there. Actually, did I already get all the questions? Ben writes, which season did you enjoy less, this one or the 17-win season?
This one.
I had some. I because we have Mitchell Robinson, I enjoy this season more, but it's close. Rafi writes, if Dallas gets Zion, how jealous should we be?
All the jealous.
Oh God. If Dallas gets Zion, they should be forced to trade him to the Knicks. Rob writes, this decade has been really rough as a Knicks fan, but there have been some fun moments and bright spots. So what's your guys' favorite moment in the 2010s for the Knicks? Mine would probably be Melo scoring 62. I'd say Linsanity, then Melo.
I like that one Marbury game when he went coast to coast in 3 seconds and hit a buzzer beater.
You really going to say Marbury? That's actually Marbury.
You really going to say Melo?
Well, the 62-point game.
Yeah.
You watched that game with me. You enjoyed watching that game. It was fun to watch Melo score 62 points.
It was.
And by the way, Marbury was before the 2010s.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. Oscar writes, depending on how the draft lottery goes, which players would you consider flipping on draft night to move up, trade, get another pick? Choose between Knox, Frank, Dennis Smith, Dotson, Robinson.
Everyone except Robinson.
Yeah, everyone except Robinson. See if Robert Silverman's there.
Okay. All right, and we're back. Jorge writes, do you guys want...
That was good. That was a solid guest. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. Go, John.
Jorge writes, do you guys want KP to be guilty just so we can say we won a trade?
Do I want a woman to have actually been raped just so the Knicks don't look stupid? Yes, Jorge. I would say part of me kind of wants that to be true.
I think we might have won the trade anyway.
Really? Why?
What if KP comes back and he's like 50% of what he was, and then he gets injured again?
Oh, I agree with that. I'm just saying, how do you already know that?
Oh no, I'm not saying.
You said you think we already won the trade.
Oh, I should say I think there's a chance we won the trade. Is that better?
Yeah,
I think there's a possibility we won the trade.
There was a rumor the Knicks were shopping him earlier in the year, before the season, and trying to get
De'Aaron Fox. Can you imagine how great that would have been?
That would have been amazing. And that was pre-rape, so that was like his stock was higher.
Yeah, apparently Sacramento was on the fence and at the last minute decided no. That would have been franchise altering.
Yeah, I mean the Knicks could have gotten him if Sacramento had been in by trading their the best player they've drafted since Patrick Ewing, or they could have gotten him by just like winning 2 less games the year before.
No, you got to build a winning culture. You see where that got us?
That got us, yes. All the extra wins we've gotten at every year when people are like, no, you can't root against the young guys when they want to win games. Oh, it's all about building culture. You learn how to win. That's gotten us to the worst season in Knicks history.
Yep.
All about culture.
I guess Porzingis should not have stayed woke that night after his ACL tear, allegedly.
Yeah, I heard. I guess online people are talking about that. How with the ACL tear could he have even tried to rape someone? Would he have been in too much pain or just unable to I guess, hold down a 120-pound woman?
I've seen that too, but if you remember, he walked out of the stadium and didn't know he had an ACL tear until he got the MRI. He was walking.
Oh.
He was walking around that night.
Oh, that's a good point, Jay.
He's also 7'3" and a professional athlete. So even on one leg, he could probably overpower a little woman. Not saying he did. I'm just saying anybody in the NBA could probably overpower me with one leg.
He looks kind of lanky, but you're thinking about that as a normal. If he was 5'8", you probably assume he's not that strong. On a 7'3" frame, looking lanky could be he's so much stronger than you realize.
Yeah, he's probably deceptively strong.
He could have probably, not saying he did or would have, but he probably could have held down numerous women that night at the same time.
Yeah. All right.
I'm just saying that he's strong, and even with the ACL injury, multiple women could have accused him, and it would have been. He probably didn't do it, but he would have been strong enough to do it.
Yes. Jeffrey writes, do you think Frank is destined to be our next captain? He brings minimal offense and is overrated on defense, so he's basically Lance Thomas. Keep up the great work.
Yeah. So what do you think the rumor is the Knicks might try to trade him on draft night? On the same time, his year. What do you think of his year this year? Was it a solid D or is it an F?
It was probably an F. It seemed like his defense wasn't even as good as last year. His offense didn't improve at all, and he got injured a lot.
And he couldn't stay on the goddamn court. Like, the Knicks were like, the job is yours, Ntilikina. And he's like, my groin kind of hurts. I'm not going to play again the rest of the year. He came back for, 2 games?
This was the year of the groin.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron's shut down the rest of the season with his groin.
Do you think KP wishes he injured his groin? Because then the allegations would just been like, nah, couldn't have happened. What do you think of will Ntilikina, in your mind, will he ever be a starter in this league? Like a legitimate starter, not like the Knicks are so bad they'll start him.
No, I don't.
I can't see it. I could see him developing into a useful NBA player. I definitely could see that happening, but it would be a huge jump from where he is to be a real NBA starter.
The thing is, I want him to be good. It's so nice to draft somebody and root for them, and watch them get better throughout their career and flourish. It's just I just don't see it happening. I don't, and I'm not saying that because I want him to fail to say I was right. He doesn't look good.
No, I hope we're completely wrong. We were both very much we've been on the Frank bandwagon for a while, but I don't know. I expected more from him this year. He's the same player he was last year without on offense, he just passes the ball and kind of goes, I'm done here now. He doesn't really set guys up that much. I don't know, he's just too timid on offense. Every once in a while he has the burst of oh wow, nice shot. But he'll just burst to the basket. Why can't he do that on every play? But he doesn't. What do you think we're going to see of Frank next year? Let's just say the Knicks keep him. What do you expect from him? And just assume we don't get Durant because obviously that'll be a different situation.
I feel like it might be just a similar season.
Maybe he works on his shooting and his shooting's a little better, but his shooting's been atrocious.
Yeah, this might be it. Who knows? He's still so young, but usually players show some sort of improvement.
If anything, he probably should work on his defense. Just become a real lockdown defender, because then he'll have a real role in the NBA going forward. I don't see him as a point guard running the offense.
No.
He's kind of a man without position at this point.
He could be like a Ferguson on Oklahoma City.
Do you think Lance Thomas is his future? Like, I know he just made the joke about being captain, but like, do you think Lance Thomas is really like this is where Frank's heading?
Yeah, definitely.
He should basically Frank should spend a lot of time with Lance Thomas as part of a Scared Straight program.
I mean, Lance Thomas has ended up with like a 10-year career.
No, he's solid. He's a solid role player, and that's what I think. That's where he may be heading right now. He's just a solid role player for his career.
Is there any other Knicks-related topics you'd like to talk about?
Well, a couple questions.
Okay.
Jonathan writes, questions for the show. What about DeMarcus Cousins? He'd been putting good numbers and he looks healthy. Why nobody mentioned Cousins as a target? I'll give you. He has 2 parts. Tell me what you think about the Cousins part.
Cousins.
What do you think about Durant and Cousins?
His Cousins' individual numbers look good, but Golden State looks so much worse when he's on the floor.
Yeah, but they haven't had that much time to get used to it. Like he hasn't been back that long. I mean, I know it's been like 2 months, but like the rest of the guys didn't play together for years now.
I don't know. I feel like Cousins might be a good stats on a bad team guy.
I would be.
The Kings were bad when he was on there. The Pelicans looked better as soon as he got injured, and the Warriors look worse when he's there.
I wouldn't be opposed. Those things do sound damning, but I wouldn't be opposed to Knicks getting Cousins. It's more again if they get Durant and they complement it with by getting Cousins, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
If it's not a max, I agree. I don't want Max Cousins. No, absolutely not.
Part 2. I know you hate the idea of Tobias Harris and Kemba Walker duo, but you know that if that happens, that team will be the best Knicks team of the last 20 years, right? Except for the 54-win team.
It's true.
Yeah, no, it's hands down. They get Tobias Harris and Kemba Walker.
Oh God, sorry.
Do you have to do that once a show? Is it like,
I do.
It's written in your contract, Jay?
It's a new tradition. I just wanted to see how old Cousins was. He's 29, by the way.
Okay. Maybe you can go to a different site from now on during the show.
Yeah, I agree.
Anthony writes, hey, how about Butler and Cousins? Just thought I would give Jay something to think about.
Oh, my God. If it's Butler and Cousins, the show might have to be over.
I got something for you, actually, Jay.
I'm not Harris and Walker isn't that. I'm higher on Harris than a lot of people.
No, Harris is a good player. I think your issue and it doesn't get us. You get those 2 guys where at best like a 6th seed maybe or a 7th seed. We want to win a title that doesn't get us there. Is that your?
Yeah, I mean Philly was in 4th, and then they got Harris, and now they're in 3rd. So there you go.
They have a very good team. They have a lot of good players. I'm just saying the Knicks don't have that much right now. We're looking for a savior. It might be instead of getting these guys, you might want to try build.
Yeah, no, Harris would be the same thing that we do every 5 years, like we do with McGrady. We're just like, hey, you're very good. Now you're the leader of a franchise, and you have to carry everything, which shouldn't be their role.
You mean Amari Stoudemire?
I meant McDice, but and Amari.
McDice, okay.
Because
I was going to say McGrady. The Knicks got him at the end of his career.
I meant McDice. And yeah, I guess Amari too, and Marbury was supposed to be that guy. It's like every few years they're just like lead the team and do every single thing, and we're gonna get you no help. You're it.
So Jay, on a different note, do you have anything else you want to talk about for the next guy? I have something else I want to talk about.
No, I really don't.
Okay, so Jay, do you have kids?
No.
I know you don't have kids. I have kids. It's great to have kids.
Is this turning into a Brink episode?
No.
Okay.
I think that you should adopt.
Where are you going with this?
I want both of us actually to adopt. Our Knicks are horrible. This show is going to get harder and harder to do during the playoffs. I think we should adopt a team for the playoffs. Maybe we should adopt the same team or a different team, but kind of report on that team going forward for the playoffs.
Okay.
And we should pick a team that's actually in the playoffs. It'd also be a really disappointing year if we adopted the Atlanta Hawks because they wouldn't make the playoffs.
Right.
why don't we pick one team that we can both follow and have that be our adopted team for the playoffs? So it'll be the New York Knicks podcast, also that covers the Milwaukee Bucks or whatever other team.
Okay.
That would make it a little more fun if we can root for a team in the playoffs. If you say the Golden State Warriors, you don't understand it. You don't understand what I'm trying to talk.
I was thinking of a team.
I hate you if you say the Golden State Warriors.
No, I was thinking of a team with the same record as the Golden State Warriors.
You want to adopt the Denver Nuggets.
I mean, they did win me 2 burgers.
I do owe you 2 burgers. At some point, I will pay up.
Yeah, actually, owe me 3. My fantasy team made the playoffs.
Well, go to hell. The Denver Nuggets. Make your case. Why should we adopt?
It's a good story. They were underrated at the beginning of the season. They have now finished. Well, there's 7 games left, and they're tied for the best record in the West. They have no superstars. Jokic is.
By the way, Jokic hates your guts for saying that.
Jokic is unknown to the casual fan. He plays like a superstar. But I guarantee you, if you go into your office tomorrow and say who's Jokic, they're gonna be, what are you talking about? So,
yeah. Okay. Fair. You're right. A lot of fans don't necessarily know him. He's not not James Harden level.
Right. Exactly. He gets almost no coverage from ESPN or SI or like. They're a very under the radar team. Which
how
is
many
crazy
teams are also led by a point their point guard basically is their center?
Yeah, they have a different, cool style of play. They have a well-rounded team. They win by committee. There's not just one guy scoring 50 points a game, James Harden, and they haven't done an egregious injustice to the Knicks like the Rockets did in 94 and 95. So, in 94.
Okay, let's go to the other Western Conference teams and the Eastern Conference teams. You're going to tell me why the Denver Nuggets why you don't want to adopt these teams.
Okay.
Golden State Warriors, why not adopt them?
That's just being a front runner.
Houston Rockets.
Harden is unwatchable to play. I hate it.
Trailblazers.
They disappoint, so we'll only be able to cover them for the first 5 playoff games.
Also, their center is no longer.
Yes. Nurkic split his leg in 2. Good thing he wears his socks higher. There would have been bones sticking out.
Holy crap. This makes me cringe even thinking about that injury.
Yeah.
Utah Jazz.
Utah Jazz. That's another team that wouldn't be bad to root for.
Yeah.
They're having their patented late season surge.
You know why we can't root for them, right? Because we drafted Ntilikina over Donovan Mitchell. Can't root for them.
Okay, that's a good reason.
Clippers.
It's kind of the same reason I wouldn't really want to root for the Blazers. Do you really have any faith that the Clippers get out of the first round?
And they're also kind of like not a star-led team, win by committee. Like they're basically a worse version of the Denver Nuggets.
I mean, it would be nice to root for Gallo.
No, it's also like there's a chance Durant goes there. Like screw them.
Okay, or Kawhi. There's a lot of Kawhi rumors too.
Yeah, San Antonio Spurs.
They've won enough. We don't need to root for them anymore.
They've won since the Bible was written, so
Yeah.
Screw them. OKC.
What is going on with OKC? They're now in 8th place.
They've really fallen off. What the hell happened?
They were what, 3rd a couple weeks ago?
They really, they were. It was pretty. They were at least 4th, if not 3rd. Like very, like they were. Paul George would be talking about like as an MVP candidate. Now they're 8th seed.
And Westbrook is still averaging a triple-double. Everyone's healthy. And they just went into this crazy swoon. They're 3-7 in the last 10. It's pretty crazy. If Sacramento didn't self-destruct like 3 weeks ago, Oklahoma City would be worried about making the playoffs.
Would it be fair to say Westbrook might be a little overrated?
He might be. So why wouldn't we root for the Thunder?
Yeah, why would we do Thunder? Okay, let's go to the East. Let's see if we can make a case. Because right now, for the West, you've won me over in the Denver Nuggets. But is there an East team that we should take over them? Let's start at the bottom and work our way up.
Okay.
Well, it looks like right now the Heat and Orlando are fighting. So let's say Orlando in the 9th seed. They might get the 8th seed. Orlando, why not Orlando?
Same argument as I used with some teams in the West. They're going to get swept.
Yeah, that's probably true. Heat.
Never rooting for Wade.
Yes, I agree with that. Brooklyn.
I don't acknowledge them as a team.
They've also seemed to be doing rebuilding better than the Knicks. It's painful to even think about them.
As a Knicks fan, you can't root for the Nets as well.
Yeah. I almost want to just pretend Brooklyn's not even like a borough anymore.
Yeah.
Detroit.
Detroit, do you have any faith in Drummond and Griffin in the playoffs?
Very limited faith. They would look like they were going to play Philly in the first round. That should be an interesting first round matchup, though.
Should be. I don't know. I just never really been a Pistons fan. Feel weird rooting for them.
Harder for Detroit. Indiana. And also Blake Griffin, ever since he jumped over that car for the dunk contest, I've liked him less ever since then.
Yeah. Especially since he won, because it wasn't even a good dunk.
Do you think Zion's the next Blake?
First of all, he jumped over the hood, not the top of the car, so it wasn't even impressive.
Do you think Blake, does Zion remind you of a younger Blake Griffin?
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, Blake Griffin, similar, could jump through the ceiling, that was his big asset coming out.
And Blake developed the shot, so maybe Zion will too.
Yeah, I saw Zion hit a 3-pointer the other day.
There you
go. Maybe his shot's not that bad. Pacers.
As a Knicks fan, we are not allowed to root for the Pacers.
Go to hell, Reggie Miller. Celtics.
Same answer.
I'm surprised that you wouldn't want the Celtics. You being not even in the closet. You're out of the closet, Larry Bird lover.
Yeah, he's been retired for a couple decades.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't stop you from stroking yourself to him. 76ers.
76ers is interesting. Embiid's likable.
Well,
Butler's not.
They tanked and got better. We're tanking and not getting better, so screw them.
I don't feel comfortable rooting for Butler after he started trouble everywhere he went.
Yeah, I don't love Jimmy Butler when he was just like, I don't really want to play for you anymore. Trade me. And
then immediately started trouble when he went to Philly.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like the guy. You don't want him on the Knicks. Raptors. They're a team that the top two are two teams that you could very well root for.
Yeah.
Raptors. I have a good reason here.
Mm-hmm.
Friend of the show, Steven, is a big Raptors fan, so that's a good enough reason to not adopt them.
Yeah, he's threatened to murder me a few times, so...
Yeah, no, he's threatened both our lives. The Bucks.
See, the Bucks would be my other team I would consider rooting for. And it's not because they're in first, it's because they have kind of a fun style. Giannis is, one of the best players in the league, but after that, it's really just a lot of role players. So it's kind of cool to see a pretty well-rounded team. Would you call anybody else on the Bucks a star?
No. And Bledsoe's very good, but it seems like and Milton's very good. It seems like league rules dictate you're not allowed to guard Giannis. Has that been officially passed, or just
they're testing it out? They're testing it out. They're deciding if they can have that many pleers in the league at once that you're not allowed to touch.
It does seem like you're not allowed to guard him. Just watching at least the Knicks play the Bucks, no one's allowed to guard Giannis. The league's you wonder how these players would fare. I mean, they still be great players, but it'd be interesting to see Giannis play in the '90s when you were allowed to guard him.
Yeah.
So right now, I think it comes down to the Bucks versus the Denver Nuggets in this adoption. Who do you want to adopt, Jay? I'm going to let you make the final call.
This is really tough. I've rooted for a number of Nuggets teams over the years.
Because the Bucks probably will go. They have a very good chance of going to the finals, and they have the best record in the NBA right now, which would be a little bit of front runners. But no one expects the East to have a shot of winning the title.
Right. I mean, can we pick both? One from East, one from West?
Can we? I mean, we're making these rules up as we go, so sure.
Okay. At least,
Bucks?
I mean, having one team in each conference kind of makes sense.
Yeah. No, so we will be rooting for the Bucks and the Denver Nuggets to play each other in the finals, and we'll try to cover their games. Not the regular season games, because who gives a crap, but their playoff series. We're going to try to focus on them going forward, because the Knicks, not like the Knicks will ever make the playoffs the rest of our lives, so we should adopt every year going forward.
I always adopt a West Coast team, and a lot of years it's actually the Nuggets.
Right, but we don't really adopt it in the sense we don't really like kind of talk a lot about them.
Oh
on
no,
the
we don't
show.
talk. No, I do that like privately. Like I was rooting for that Mutombo, Robert Pack, Nuggets team back in the early '90s.
Yeah, no, I got the one that beat Seattle.
Yeah, uh, yeah, that team. I rooted for them for a couple years.
I love them being Seattle because anytime like a one gets knocked off by an 8 seed, like that's just awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Okay, so the Bucks have first round. They look like they were playing the Heat or Orlando. They got that right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I don't think that's gonna be much of a series, but it'll be fun to cover. It looks like Denver right now. Let's just say Denver. If they finish 7, they got Sacramento. They finished 2, they got San Antonio. They finished 1, they got Oklahoma. Both series look like they'd be a tough series.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting either way.
Yeah. On the Bucks, like I guess who's got to really step up in the playoffs for them?
On the Bucks,
Not the Bucks, sorry, on the Nuggets.
Jamal Murray. When he plays good, the team wins. When he doesn't, the team loses. Simple as that.
Yeah, I like that. I want to see more Millsap also.
Yeah, they're a much better defensive team when Millsap is on.
Isaiah Thomas probably doesn't need to make the playoff roster.
Probably not.
Probably not. It'll be interesting to see what they have a lot of good players, like beyond the guys you mentioned, like Will Barton, Gary Harris. They have a lot of very talented players.
Yeah, it's a whole team of above average but not great players, which is fun to see.
Yeah,
well,
not great. Great sounds too negative. Like they're all very good players. A bunch of very good players.
You could say Jokic is great, but yeah, everyone else I would just say is above average.
Yeah, this is the kind of team you'd want the Knicks to kind of build.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a well-rounded team. This is the kind of team I've wanted for the Knicks for decades.
I mean, they even have a Beasley that plays well, Malik.
Yeah, no relation, but
no relation. And they got Hernan Gomez, the better version. They know what they're doing.
So okay, so those are the teams we will be following. We will still talk Knicks, but we need also something else to talk about because it's 2.5 months of playoffs, and the Knicks will not be in there.
Yeah, I thought it was fun to adopt. How do you like being a parent, Jay?
Feels good.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to put the Bucks and the Nuggets to sleep tonight. Okay. I'm not doing it, Jay. You're in charge of our kids.
Fine.
By the way, I'm going to end our show. Go to Tankathon 5 times in a row. How many times do you think the Knicks will get the number 1 seed?
Once.
Okay, let's do it. First one, Knicks are number 2.
Okay.
Knicks are number 5. Knicks are number 5. Knicks are number 2. And Knicks are number 3. Never the 1 seed. And this one, my last one, had Dallas getting the number 1 seed. That would be so goddamn awful. If you had to rank the teams that you do not want to have the Zion pick, the number 1 pick, top 3 teams that would make your blood boil the most.
Lakers, Cavs, Mavs.
Yeah, I like that. I would go with that order also.
Yeah. Yeah, I do not want to see LeBron luck out and get Zion and then a big free agent and then they're relevant again.
Well, okay, if LeBron gets Zion, it won't be because he lucked out.
True.
It's just completely stop doing the draft and the NBA just hands out to whatever story they want going forward. Just stop pretending it's not fixed if Lakers get it.
Yeah, true.
The Lakers probably get the number 2 pick just to make it seem like, oh, that was so random that happened. Okay, what did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that we are going to get through the season by rooting for other teams.
Yes. We learned that we have a whole new conspiracy theory for why KP wanted out from the Knicks.
Oh my God. The Knicks can't go one 1 week without embarrassing themselves.
I like how you said you have that chalkboard where you're like number of days since the Knicks have embarrassed themselves. At some point, you just hear some new Knicks news and you light the chalkboard on fire.
Yeah.
You're like just forget it.
Yeah, the chalkboard will be reset when I come in on Monday.
Well, this is Dallas Mavericks news, really, but it's not.
It happened when he was on the Knicks.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back probably next week. Why? I don't know. But it's because people still listen, I guess.
By the way, Jay, I had up an article, a New York Post article about KP. You know how they had those the advertisements to get you to go to like random weird fake sites?
Yeah.
Like it'll say like over 65, it's time for this, or like they'll put a hot girl on it and say join the cannabis crusade. When you you click on it, it's some fake site. Just try to. Anyway, so they have a thing called from some website called the Sports Drop, which is not probably a real website, but it says NBA trade mistakes. Every NBA team's biggest trade mistake of all time. And you know who the picture is?
Mm.
Bargs.
Bargs.
That's their lead for the entire article. The guys to click on is a picture of Bargs.
Lovely.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye. Go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone.